obviously there's something to learn here. And so I've like gone back to school. I'm in grad school too.
Bree is studying out of her mind.
I really am.
In the best of way. I mean, literally you calling me like, I just had surgery and I'm trying to finish a grad school assignment and I have to teach class because I'm trying to pay my bills. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's a lot. I was like, Meg, I think I'm feeling like depression. And she was like, no, duh. You've just gone through a surgery and a breakup and you're an artist living in New York City. Of course you're depressed.
I was like, what?
Hi, Chronic community. Jamie here. I just wanted to jump in super quick before this week's episode to let you know that things are going to be a little bit different this week. If you are listening with your ears or if you're watching with your eyes on the YouTube, then you'll notice that things look and sound a little bit different. Meg sat down by herself this week to chat with her strong, brave, funny, sweet, amazing friend Bree to talk about Bree's journey with cancer. They talk about what it's like navigating a chronic illness and chronic pain and just trying to be young and live and be an artist and a dancer. They really have so much in common. It's an incredible friendship and it's also a really awesome episode. I know I'm biased, and don't worry, Meg and I will be back to our regular Chronic shenanigans next week in the Chronic Clubhouse, aka my apartment with the broken green banana. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in and listening, as always, and I really hope you guys enjoy this week's episode with Meg and her friend Bree. Bye.
Okay, it looks like we have plants growing out of our heads. We're little like nature creatures. Pineapple people. You heard it here first, folks. Bree and Meg, the pineapple people. Actually, fun fact, we found out that we both have very grandmotherly middle names.
Yes, we do.
Yes. Me being an Elaine.
Me being a Dorothy.
That's right. So, yes. Dorothy and Elaine, bringing you this breakfast nook talk. This is how we get into it. This is our cold open. This is how we're getting. I just realized that your necklace is one of your cranes.
It is a paper crane. Yes.
Did you get that specially made?
No, it was a gift from my ex's mom.
Oh, so nice.
It's a beautiful gift, and I mean, paper cranes hold significant.
We take it with us.
So we take it with us, and it sits perfectly in this little nook.
It does. It's your paper crane nook. I love it. Mm-hmm. I know, because when you were dancing in West Side Story.
And
you did, 1,000 cranes?
I did, yeah. So I've had this project, 10,000 paper cranes that I brought to geriatric centers in Northern California.
As Dorothy?
And then the West Side Story, if you're a shark girl, you got, yes, as Dorothy, to my Dorothy. So I got like people in the cast to just fold cranes backstage. And then we delivered it to a children's hospital this time. But 1,000. We did 1,000.
And that's how I feel about that, Brianna. You're telling this beautiful story about taking care of children. And I'm like, couldn't care less. This monster over here.
My God.
Oh my gosh. Bree, the sweet pineapple sunshine person, and Meg, the monster. Wow. Really coming in hot, guys. And we even ate our delicious guisados tacos 2 hours ago, so that wouldn't happen. And I had to top it off with a Topo Chico.
There you go.
Because I love to gamble, and I lost. Wow.
Oh, my God.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Chronic the podcast and our Chronic community. Happy Wednesday if it's Wednesday for you. Wow. I am beyond excited. The way that she's like, you ready to go? The way that this lined up, everyone, today obviously this is not Jamie next to me, but this is a special treat because my dear friend Bree, hi Bree.
Hi Meg.
Oh my gosh, is on my couch. Bree and I have known each other since I think it was it 2015?
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Yeah.
I got to New York in 2013. And
I got there in 2014.
Yeah.
So we graduated college the same year.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, 2015.
2015.
Sounds accurate.
Yeah. So anyway, Bree's visiting from New York City, where she's a brilliant choreographer, dancer, human being.
Thank you.
And has an amazing...
So much.
What is Juju? Is she a pit?
Juju's a pitty. She's a Staffordshire Terrier.
Oh my gosh. Her 11-year-old pitty that she walks around the city her pity in the city. The most adorable. Brie and Juju.
Very cute.
Very cute. But yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
I still can't believe you're here.
I'm very excited to be here. I love this podcast. It made me laugh out loud. I was just like, and then I called you.
It was so wild.
I called you saying, Meg, where are my chronically ill people at? Literally. And that's when you were like, okay, yeah, I'm here for you. And and then I heard what you were doing this, and I'm like, okay, alignment.
Literally. It was so wild because I had just shot an episode, and I was feeling, and I had said this to you on the call, I was feeling weirdly discouraged because it is an uphill thing to create something new. And I was like, is this really like something that people need and want? And then you literally called me like, where's my chronic community? I was like, right here.
Yeah.
Alignment. Because it's like this shared, and this is what we're going to get into, is this shared experience of being young people with chronic illness. And we were just saying over our tacos today that it is wild how it's just popping up everywhere. The more I talk about the pod or my own experience, I'm meeting, especially young women, there's just this illness epidemic of chronic illness.
Yep. Yeah. More and more prevalent and caused. We don't necessarily know the reason. We don't know the cause. But we're here.
So we met in New York City. At a dance intensive, rock the industry. We were both pursuing, I guess you could say we were both pursuing commercial dance.
Yeah. That was very much what that world was.
Yeah.
We were put through the ringer with challenges.
Yeah.
And styles and all these tasks.
Yeah. And you had started practicing Buddhism at that time?
Yes. Actually, no. I think I started practicing in 2017.
But you had been introduced through a friend.
Through a friend.
Yeah.
And then found out you were also chanting. I think I also ran into at the center.
Maybe that's what it was I didn't know you chanted. Yeah. And then I saw you at the SGI Center. And we were like, what? You dance and do Buddhism?
Yeah. And I think, there was just an immediate connection there.
Yeah. And I remember you sharing, and again, with the pod and today, sharing as much as you want. But I remember that was when I first met you at this dance intensive, and we were all introducing ourselves. And you right away shared, like, I'm Bree. This is my unique challenge that I have. I remember you did. You came out of the gate hot. No. And it wasn't from a victim place at all, but you really I felt kind of like, wow, she just so confidently shared. Like, I think we were sharing things maybe about our lives in a deeper way.
Maybe that was
because a lot of times these intensives, they would be like, tell us your secrets and then use it. And I'm like crying, like, okay.
That's so funny. Yeah, one time they call it slating. So you say your name and you say a fun fact typically or a special skill. Yes. So you're like, I'm, blah, 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 and I can play the trombone or something like that.
Can you play the trombone?
No, I can't.
All this time you were holding out on me, Brie.
But I remember, so I did a dance program at Broadway Dance Center when I first moved there. And I said, hi, my name is Brianna Mercado, and I'm a cancer survivor. And everyone's applauded.
Hooray!
I was like, also, why did I share that? Also, this is just a weird thing. But honestly, I'm kind of looking back, I'm like, I'm glad I was bold and I'm glad I spoke up because I do think that it helped people just kind of understand what really matters. And also, like, I think it speaks a lot to my character and my resiliency and I think what you learn through chronic illness is so much wisdom and you gain so much. So I think it helped me get cast in a piece, to be honest.
I am using my cancer
everyone else had the legs like up there, and I was like, oh, one of these things is not like the other.
Fuertes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I
can't do that. Yeah. So, anyways, thank you, choreographer who cast me in that, who saw my character.
I'm a survivor and a kick-ass dancer.
Exactly. Hey, but if you got the card, play it.
Oh my gosh. So at the time, we were 22, 23, 24 when we met.
Yeah.
And you had shared that this was something though that was, current, but also you had a previous experience. Yes. This has been since you were 15?
Yes. So 2 separate cancers on 2 separate occasions. At the time that I told that first slate, that was only when I had 1 cancer. Also, when I hear these words,
imagine how loud they're going to clap next time.
I know. I got to add a 2, there's a second.
Double survivor.
Yeah, I had bone cancer when I was 15 called Ewing sarcoma. But it showed up in my soft tissue. So we don't have any amputations. All these limbs are mine.
Is that
common
that happens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically a lot of Ewing's patients
wow.
lose a leg, lose a limb.
Wow.
Or have like severe joint pain because of like tumors that have needed to be removed from a femur.
Wow.
Things like that. It shows up in the femur a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so went through crazy chemo, radiation, surgery for that. And then
happy high school.
I know. Sweet 16 and like
Sweet 16.
And bald as a cucumber and just like I dressed up as Mr. Clean for Halloween.
You are a legend. She said, I'm leaning in.
I know. I was like, well, this is the only year I'm going to be bald. Let's do it.
Oh my god.
So I put cotton balls on my eyebrows.
Stop.
I embraced it.
That's amazing. And I think you had shared that too, like what is so astounding. And I'm like, was someone training you mentally? But that you had this kind of inherent attitude of, I'm just doing it. I'm getting through it. And this feels like your default nature, Bree Sunshine, to just face these things with like, well, how can I make this positive?
Yeah. I don't know how or why, but I've always been like able to see the bright side of things. I don't know. Yeah. That's definitely been my nature.
Default
natural nature to just, okay, well, at least this is happening. Like, like I'm trying to think of an example, the worst possible scenario. And I'm like, well, at least this is,
at least I got my dim sum socks on.
Exactly. You win some, you dim some.
Breeze songs. Breeze songs. These socks are epic. And these were your post-surgery gift.
Yes. So to continue on the cancer journey there, we detoured.
We do a lot of detours on Chronic
I like
Podcast. Saddle up, Bree.
So I just had a surgery and where I received these socks. And that surgery was for a thyroid cancer that I've had since 2013.
Right. That's what you were actively talking about when we met.
Yes. And so it's been like now 11 years now. We're going on 11 years with this like disease. And it's now, I mean, I would never considered cancer a chronic disease, but now it's kind of become that because my doctor has told me you will have this and you will be dealing with this the rest of your life. And I'm like, no,
I do not accept your prognosis.
Like what happened to remission? What happened to like being cancer free? Yay.
I want to wear my ribbon.
Everyone thought, okay, well, you're getting a cancer surgery. Like you're going to get it out. Like amazing. And then I'm like, no, there's a catch.
Stay tuned.
It's not all gone. We're just getting out a little bit. But yeah, so there's still some stuff in my lungs and then there's some stuff like one more in my shoulder clavicle area.
Okay.
So I don't know. We're watching and waiting and monitoring, but we got some crap moved out of my throat.
Yeah. And I remember, so you were saying there's been a long holdout. Like this has been something that you've just been monitoring. So if you're comfortable sharing this experience of having to actually get the surgery really was like intense.
Yes.
Not just because, getting cut into was so intense.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
What came up during that?
Yeah. So I think that when I was younger, I feel like there was almost this automatic, I mean, also the difference between pediatrics and normal adulthood care is so like vastly different, like in terms of the room that you're in and how the doctors talk to you and treat you. There was a lot of ignorance when I was young and just kind of like I had never been hospitalized before. I was reading my journal entries from when I was 15.
Wow.
And I was like, I wrote down, I'm actually kind of excited for the surgery. I've never been hospitalized before. Like for me,
I'm gonna get jello.
Yeah, for me it was like I've never had like the kid with the broken arm. Like it was a sign of like bravery or like
It was.
I was
you want to
curious.
be the kid with the cast.
Yeah, I was curious, and I was just like, okay, cool, let's do this thing.
Wow.
So I didn't know. I didn't know back then, and I wish I had asked more questions in terms of what would be some chronic conditions that develop from chemotherapy, from radiation. Like, what will I have to deal with when I'm older? What about fertility? Like, there's so many questions I should have asked then. But I also was swept into this beautiful cancer community of like young adults who were also going through it. And I think I just had so much support then. There's so much support for kids. cancer camp, Camp Okaizu, shout out. Wow. Love my Camp Okaizu friends forever. And also supported by the American Cancer Society, like, come and give this talk and we'll celebrate you. And just like, I was able to jump into the persona of like, I'm Bri and I'm a cancer survivor. Wow. Like very easily, like put on that front and feel okay about it. And then I had moments where I didn't feel all that great. Like I do remember driving to the hospital with my dad. I was talking about this yesterday and just like feeling really like I didn't want to go. Like every ounce of my body felt like I don't want to get through chemo again. I don't want to feel this way. I'm really done with this. I'm really depressed. I miss school. I miss feeling well. But I don't know. I think that this time around, dealing with surgery, like now that I know more and I've done more research on nutrition and energy medicine and just all these ways in which our body's trying to find balance and peace, and having your body cut into like that is just like so harsh.
So aggressive.
It's so aggressive.
Yeah.
And I felt like in general, there's also a whole nother layer to my story about like speaking up for myself and using my voice.
Whoa.
And so having a cancer here is so fascinating and so interesting. And singing lessons where I would just like, blah, like just cry.
I think I'm processing.
Like, why am I paying you so much money to just cry? But like, I think just like it almost, I have the visual of like you cut something open and it just like spews out like black.
Very Tarantino.
Like, is that what it is? I don't know.
Quentin Tarantino, Kill Bill, just like.
Yeah, it's like that. Just like, whoa, like I just energetically a lot has been coming out of me. And so I'm allowing that to come. I feel like my capacity to feel is like whoosh, expanding right now, because it's been rough. And also dealing with life circumstances of like,
you live in mother effing New York City.
Living in New York City and then having a breakup
gosh.
happen 10 days before all of that. And then having to like figure out, okay, where am I going to live after surgery? It's just like, yeah.
It's bonkers.
It was a lot to deal with. It was hard to like, to life. Hard to deal
How
with.
do I life
How do I
right now? And that's when you called me and we hung up, and I was really angry, and my friend Jamie, well, we all know Jamie now. Jamie came over and I was just like, I'm so pissed off because obviously I love you, and I was feeling just like, I hate that you're going through all this in some capacity alone. And I was just feeling so angry with, like you shared when you were younger, the community. You were so supported. I'm like, where is that?
Yeah.
Why aren't meals being delivered? Why don't you have this vanguard of support? And it just blows my noodle.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
That you're an adult and they're like, figure it out. And you're like, I'm trying to make pasta for myself alone in my apartment.
Yeah.
I'm just like ready to snap next.
Yeah. And it's hard. I mean, everyone else is doing their life adult things, and some people our age are starting families and they have partners, and like it's harder to find that support. And it's very specific for each illness and each diagnosis. And so, yeah.
And like you're saying, you're learning how to use, it's so interesting that you're learning how to use your voice and like,
I'm here. I'm speaking.
I'm ready to ask for what I need.
Yeah.
But that, not that it's a comparable illness experience, but how like my ex, how that was when I got sick is when it fell apart. And I'm like, oh, you're not able to support me in this. And that being kind of mind blowing. And then for you to say, well, we broke up 10 days before my surgery. I'm like,
yeah, I was the one who actually ended it because I was just like, this is like clearly I need to go through this alone is what I could see, that he was not able to support me. And then I was just like, I don't want to hold and linger this out. Like, this needs to end now.
I need to focus.
And I need to pull up my bootstraps and figure it out. And I'm going to do it, you know. But it was also really fascinating. On top of all of that, my surgery was delayed a month because of insurance.
We're not.
I know. We're not getting into
because
that.
we're going to have to buy new equipment.
Oh, my God.
We talk about insurance.
trash everything.
Brianna just trashes my apartment.
Oh my God, no.
Get
Yeah.
it out.
But also dealing with that on top, I mean, as another layer of adulting. It's like how to figure out insurance as an artist and trying to figure out how to pay for all of this ridiculous payments that should not exist. Anyways,
we're gonna take an insurance break.
Yes.
And
sponsored by, wouldn't that be funny though?
Sponsored by Kaiser.
Oh,
Cheers. Cheers, Brie. OMG.
Yeah,
No, we can walk away from that one. But it was funny because when you said, because I always, again, not that it was a judgment, because I'm not a relationship person. And you were just saying, you're like, I even just hopped back on the apps.
Yeah, I did. I hopped on the apps because you know what? I was on summer break and I was like, I'm not working right now. Like I'm in between jobs. I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm going to start a Hinge account.
I'm going to swipe.
So I was like, what's this all about? And also just like, I was like, I just want to meet people. Like I'm never going to meet a straight man because of the world I'm in. Like,
wait, you mean
like,
dancing in New York? You don't meet a plethora of straight men.
You just don't. So I was like, I'm curious. And also just, I love meeting new people and I want to see new places of New York. And how fun is it to date in New York? Like the diversity of human experience there is like, wow. Like,
totally.
I'd love to do that. So I was like, let's just go. And I think this is a story of like, the universe will give you what is meant for you at that moment. So yeah, the first
it gave
person
you nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
So it gave me this, and I like. Okay.
Oh, I'm only speaking from experience. I was like, let's see what it. Oh no. Oh, I'm just supposed to keep doing what I'm. Okay, I'm supposed to just do my own work right now.
So no, my first date was with this amazing human who also has a chronic illness, and we
so wild.
I guess you used the word trauma bond, which is kind of what it was.
The enlightened side of a trauma bond.
It was necessary.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you, universe. We we got coffee. We walked around Central Park. We looked at plants. He's new to New York.
What a 30s date.
I know.
Looked at some plants with my plant app.
We did. Picture this.
Picture this. Shout out. Sponsor us.
It's a great
app. We discovered today with your plant app the invasive species of white Whorehound. Which is
memory.
It's an edible, bitter,
but you don't want to eat it.
You don't want to eat it. When they say bitter, they're not selling how bitter. Brie goes, I put it in my mouth and I go, and Brie, she goes, I don't know, it's not for me. Oh God!
It took a while.
1,000, 2, 1,000. You know, so it was such a Brie moment.
An ab workout.
Not for me. You're such a delicate flower of sunshine always. So that's delayed.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, you whorehound.
Yeah. No,
it's a great app.
Yeah.
But so you guys got to have a commonality of shared experience.
Of having shared experience, being hospitalized, going through illness alone. Like I was asking him, do you go to all these appointments by yourself? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like,
wow.
That's crazy. His family is like on the East Coast, but far away. Wow. Like DC area. Like it's just.
You're making me think I know that we shouldn't broad stroke gender, but I do believe there is, only because I had a conversation with a guy about this where as young women, you know, we're trying to now stand up and be like, I can support myself, blah, 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 and how young men are expected to be a provider and be able to like stand alone. And a guy I was talking to, he's like, it sucks. I'm a young man. I'm expected to have all these ducks in a row. And that's a societal pressure. And I'm just in this moment of you saying this, thinking about it's one experience to be a female going through this, but as a male where you're expected to be so autonomous and for men to ask for help, I never even really considered that.
Yeah.
What a totally different chronic illness experience.
Totally. And it was really similar, like in terms of him going through that in his early 20s too. And like,
wow.
But yeah, just like, it's interesting. I think also dating with an illness is so funny. I was like, do you tell all your first dates
what do
this?
You do?
Like,
we literally talked about this in last episode about expectations of that's been my big hurdle is, okay, well, like it's this big, it feels like this big, like coming out of, so I have this thing I have that.
Yeah. And
And like, when do you tell?
And sometimes when you tell people you have cancer, they automatically like have Cusco doughy eyes. Like they're like, oh,
you're like,
I'm
no, I'm a
so-" I'm like,
person.
no, like it's not like that. But then also you don't want them to give you like special treatment because they think you're dying. Like I've had people
not so sexy.
Like it's weird. It's hard for them to understand because I don't look like I have cancer. I function quite normally. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, it just becomes a weird thing.
Which is also so difficult. And I don't want to speak to your experience, but it's hard when you are dealing with something and you look okay and people can't, their brain's like, and my friends have said that. They're like, it'd be different if you were in a wheelchair all the time or something. People can kind of put that together and go, oh, you're having an experience, but you're out here like young, beautiful, dancing, living her like full paced New York life. It's hard to be like,
it's like breaking the barriers or breaking the definitions, redefining what illness means and what it could look like.
Yeah.
And we're so quick as human beings. Like we want to label, we want to make meaning of things, like sick equals this.
Totally. And we want to, one of my resources through my experience, I love everything that Daisaku Ikeda, the Buddhist philosopher that Bri and I often study, but I love what he says about the attitude to have around illness. And he has a whole article that's, does illness equal unhappiness? No, it's being defeated by illness that leads to unhappiness. Defeated in your heart and your spirit, right? So again, like you looking at you having gone through all this, it has changed my perspective because it's like, again, we think, oh, illness equals misery and this dark whatever. But you have lived it in a very different way. Yeah. You've gone the other way. Yeah. And it's been all literally Bri Positive is your social handle.
That is the social handle. Yeah. Yeah. I think that there's a lot to say about the power of the mind. Yeah. And saying and instead of but, I have cancer and I'm going to be a dancer.
I love that.
Instead of like, I have cancer, but I have cancer. Like, it's like, no, let's not play the victim card here. Like, and maybe that happened just because it happened to me so young that I'm like, okay, we're going to keep on chugging along.
No other option.
Yeah.
Living my life.
There's no other option really. So, Daisaku Ikeda. Yes. Well, I had called you one time and you were like, Bri, if you're fighting, you're winning.
Yes.
Like, yes. And I don't know if that's a direct.
It is. It's one of my favorite nuggets.
Yeah. But hearing it, I mean, sometimes I read his writings and I'm like, yes. But sometimes when I hear it through the voice of a friend, it just like resonates even stronger. And that's definitely something I've taken with me. Another one I'm living by is this is the curriculum.
Ooh, break that down.
Like it's not like an acceptance of your illness. Like you do have to like accept. There's a part of acceptance with grief and all of these traumatic things that have happened. But it's like a understanding and acknowledgement of like, this is the life I was given. This is the body I was given. This is the people I was given. This is my circumstance. And there's something to learn here.
I love that. This is the curriculum.
Yeah. This is the curriculum.
Yeah. I love that. That actually even ties back to another, because again, I've read everything he's written on illness in this experience. And he's speaking to someone with diabetes who's really lamenting about, I have to take all this medication and like my life is so different because I have to do all these things that other people don't have to do throughout the day. And he said, basically in different words, this is the curriculum now. He said, if you change your mindset of, we all have to do things every day to survive. You have to eat food. You have to drink water. We all have things we have to do. So this is just one more thing on top of breakfast and exercise and all that. Yeah. And if you can make it the curriculum and not make it something that is, this sucks and that I have to do this and this, it's literally just shifting your mindset, right? Yeah. I'm like, okay, I've been gifted a life that obviously there's something to learn here. And so I've like gone back to school. I'm in grad school too. Bri is studying out of her mind. I really am. In the best of way. I mean, literally you calling me like, I just had surgery and I'm trying to finish a grad school assignment and I have to teach class because I'm trying to pay my bills. And I'm like, oh my God. It's a lot. I was like, Meg, I think I'm feeling like depression. And she was like, no, duh. You've just gone through a surgery and a breakup and you're an artist living in New York City. Of course you're depressed. I'm just like, what? Oh, and I say it with all the love and compassion.
Oh, no, but it was also
just
nice.
like-
I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Like, and that's like the weird other side of it when you're constantly just holding down the fort of like, I will not be swayed, I will not be discouraged, that we can sometimes almost mute the fact that like, I'm really fucking drowning right now.
Yeah.
And maybe I need to go to California and breathe
and have a little
green
fresh
air.
breath. Yeah. Well, I mean, what they say about emotion being energy in motion, like I've picked up running. Like I need to like just move. I need to cry more. I need to just like do something with this energy that I'm holding. Yeah.
Like an avatar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doing our Qigong.
Yes. I love Qigong. So good for you. I joined a Qigong group actually in New York. And we meet on
park?
Zoom. No, but they have like a virtual class. It's on Zoom.
Okay.
But I'm definitely the only one under the age of 80.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
On Zoom. I'm like doing it in the bedroom.
That was literally when I first got sick and I was stuck on the couch and I would watch these ladies on the YouTube. These like old, beautiful, just like moving like water.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing the arms.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, it's hard as a dancer to break our like, I need to get it right.
Overexert. Yes,
I need to
perfection.
Hit a line. There's a goal in this versus
Yes.
I just need to be in the experience
Of my body.
And that's such a like, especially in Western culture, we're so results oriented versus that's been another thing of being knocked on my ass with illness is like, oh, you just kind of have to be along for the ride right now and not be, because I've always been like, I can make shit happen, results. And then when you can't, you're like, well, okay, let's get curious.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? Or like, how can I do something today that feels good? Right. And like Buddhism, we talk about there in every moment, there's the opportunity, there's the potential to cultivate happiness by shifting our heart. And I feel like you've had to master that.
Yeah. I call myself like an expert in the art of resiliency. You know, it's just like, shifting perspective, shifting heart. Gratitude, that's a big part of my life
That's
right
the
now.
sword.
Yeah.
Cut through.
Gratitude to shift that heart space open. I feel like also being creative, like being an artist is so important in terms of resiliency and facing hardships because we're able to like just shift and find a new way. Whereas, and I hear this, people are like, oh, well, I'm not an artist. Oh, I'm not creative. It's like, nope.
Yeah.
You're a human being. So you are creative. You're just not tapped into it.
And it can look like different things. Like I haven't been able to dance throughout this whole experience. And I initially felt like it was a devastating loss. But then I got these great vegan Instant Pot books and I started getting really into cooking big pots and I loved cooking for other people. And I started to feel a similar tingle of the creative process that I had when I was choreographing or making a film or whatever it was. Yeah. And again, it shifted my perspective of like, there are so many ways to be creative or use my life. Yes. You know, the Japanese term shime means to use one's life. And that's always something that word floats around in my body all the time of shime. How can I shime? I don't know if that's how you use it, but like, how do I tap into my shime today as I am? Yes. I can do it. There's something, I can create something. That's our inherent potential as human beings is to create out of nothing. Yeah. And it doesn't mean we have to choreograph a Broadway show.
No. And also like, even when you have those goals and they get ripped from you, it's also
no emotion behind that.
No, yeah. There's
torn from my finger.
Torn from it. It's okay. That's another story. But even
that actually happened?
Something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But even when these experiences don't happen, you have to trust that there's a reason why. Like, and also trusting like you had the courage to get your vegan cookbooks and set up the pot and be like, I don't know if this is going to taste good, but I'm going to feed people and we're going to see what happens.
Thank you for calling me courageous.
You are courageous. And but you were trusting also this little instinct inside of you, your intuition that was like, okay, maybe I'll try this. But like if I'm at a place right now, I feel like I'm at like a tipping point almost of like, okay, where am I going to go next? Like I don't have an apartment. I have 2 jobs. That's great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Also, I'm a little bit in limbo with my illness too. I forgot to tell you this.
Details.
So because I got my surgery, like I got all the cancer gunk out of there.
Get it out.
The cancer marker, it's in my blood. They take a little blood test. They check my thyroglobulin levels. My thyroglobulin should have been lower, technically. Tell me why it jumped from 17.2 to 26.8
or
something.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're going to cut me out.
Exactly. And so I was like, I had a, oh my gosh, I tell you, when I found out these results, first, I should, there's so much.
I trashed my friend's apartment.
Okay, I recorded myself.
Oh,
I
wow.
put on my camera and I was like, okay, I'm going to check my results. And I put it there and I was at a selfie video. Oh my God. And I checked it. And then you see my jaw just like,
oh my God.
And I start crying and I'm like, I can't, I'm like, turn this off. This was not the expectation video I wanted to record.
Reality TV moment where everyone's like, oh no.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, that'll be helpful later and funny later to view. But,
oh my God.
But it was just like devastation. I called Mark Cruz. Sorry, I should.
Mark Cruz.
I called a friend.
Mark Cruz is human sunshine. If you ever have the fortune to meet a man named Mark Cruz in your life experience, when I tell you I've never seen him not showing every tooth.
Mark is amazing.
Follow Mark Cruz. I don't know what his handle is.
I don't know what it is either.
But go find this human.
Just look for the smile.
This is a free shameless plug because he has been nothing but love and beauty and sunshine in my life.
And mine too. So I called him and I said, Mark, I need a wild night. I just need a wild night.
Saddle up, partner.
I canceled my Perry dance class. I was just like, there's no way I can teach right now. And then we went to this place called Rooftop Cantina. Have you been there?
Is it in?
It's in Midtown. It's like on like 47th Street or something and 10th Avenue. It was just like blasting loud music, like beautiful sunshine outside, rainbow umbrellas above us, and just like a plate full of guacamole and like
just guac
and margaritas. I was just like, this is great. I needed this. This is perfect. And then he told them it was like early April, so he was like, it's her birthday, and so they came with like this like crazy like firework piñata thing that I had to crack open.
They lit it on fire.
Yeah, a mariachi band came, and it was also funny. The mariachi
ask for
band,
what you want.
Yeah, it was delivered. Everybody in the restaurant was wanting them to sing like Bad Bunny songs and stuff, and I was like, no, this is a mariachi band, like. And so I was like, what's the song that goes ay 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 ay, and they're like, oh, mi cielito lindo. So they sang that song, and I just cried. I was just like, this is the most beautiful
I love
song.
This visual of you crying to mariachi over your sparkling guacamole.
But I needed that, and that was the first time I've ever like admitted I just went through something so traumatic for my body, for my mind, for my spirit, and you're telling me maybe it didn't work. Like, what's going on? So stay tuned, everyone. I get another PET scan and some more blood tests when I get back to New York.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like and it's funny that I even forgot to tell you this because I've been hanging out with you for like the last 24 hours. But yeah, I guess that's also part of my way of being, is like my ability to compartmentalize and just be like, okay, well, that's over there. And I can't do anything about that right now, though. Like, should I worry, and should I just be in that state of worry? So I think like mariachi restaurant night was actually my way of like,
this is my rebuttal,
dealing
bitch.
with it. Yeah, dealing with it. And then now I can go out and live my life and choreograph things. And
wow.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's epic fascinating that you kind of, you created an outlet. I think I too have struggled with, I need to just acknowledge and be like, you had a celebratory rage.
I did.
Moment. I did. And it's hard because I have suffered with internalizing the experience, because I'm afraid if I let myself feel it, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. And so I'm really encouraged by that story, because I'm like, yeah, why not just kind of like blow the horn on it and then be able to move through it, like you said. And I've heard that before. Like I think you can only feel the emotion for 30 seconds, like the fullness of it. Yeah. Let yourself feel it. And obviously it doesn't go away, but that intensity in that moment like when you called me just after the surgery and you were kind of holding it back.
Yeah.
I think I'm having a hard time. I was like, yeah,
You are.
and I think you should just kind of let it happen.
Yeah,
You don't watch a movie that's
Yeah.
Everyone always says that. Watch a movie that makes you cry.
See, I'm heartless. I don't cry watching movies.
I don't either, Brie.
Wow.
I am a cold, hard. Do you know what though? This was the most random. This was last year when I still was pretty couch ridden. And I had started rewatching all the Sex in the City because it's so dumb. It's so removed from reality that I was like, yeah, this is where we're at. But it was so weird. It was the Miranda cancer episode where it wasn't her.
Spoiler alert. No.
Oh, shit. You know what? That's freaking on you, audience. If y'all have not seen.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brianna. It's on you, Brianna.
I know. I watched the first 2 episodes on the plane, and then it was very inappropriate to keep watching with a man next to me.
Oh, literally, you're like, are there children present? Exactly. Some people are so reckless on airplanes. Like, are you looking at who's next to you right now?
I shouldn't watch this. But anyways, Miranda episode. Go.
Oh no, not Miranda. Samantha.
Oh, Samantha.
Samantha cancer episode. And it wasn't the whole, like, not to be insensitive, it wasn't her getting cancer. It wasn't the whole process, but it was the weirdest part because she's so, I'm fine. I'm going to get fun wigs. We're not talking about it. It was this weird moment where they're at lunch and everyone's still trying to, they're taking cues off of her. And they're being like, everything's fine. We're still going to be hot bitches, whatever. And then she's like, you know what, everyone? I think I need to be sad right now and just be like, I'm not okay. I lost it. Like, I was home alone. There was something about that, letting yourself be like, nah, man, this is really fucking rough.
Yeah.
And not letting myself go there ever or often, and challenging myself to trust myself that I'm not gonna fall off the deep end if I let myself feel that it's hard.
Yeah. I think I'm getting there now where I'm like, oh, I have these untapped emotions or they're, and
18 years of
like literally
emotions.
I'm processing 18 years of medical trauma is like what I'm processing right now.
That's
of
bonkers.
like 18 years of saying everything's fine, 18 years of saying I'm okay when I maybe wasn't.
Wow.
It's like, that's a lot. So yeah, I have moments where I'm like, I'm feeling emotional. I'm going to go lay on the floor and cry.
I love how you even got rigid just saying that.
Yeah.
I'm feeling emotional.
I'm feeling emotion. Most of the time it's not like movies or shows, but it's like songs.
Wow.
Or particular lyrics or even phrases that are said. I don't want to think of a phrase because then it'll be waterworks here, but
taking a slight pause. But we were talking about that over lunch of this kind of, but it's a two-sided coin of like, we were talking about diagnosis versus prognosis and how a lot of people that are really, really pushing this brain science of placebo of don't accept the prognosis because you'll create the prognosis or you'll create the side effects.
Yeah.
And how there's two-sided coin for you where you've always been like, I'm moving forward. I'm not going to dwell. I'm not going to think about this thing, and how it creates a placebo of I've been able to keep living my life.
Yeah.
But then like you're also saying the flip side of, but I can't just sever the experience.
Yes.
My body is actually still having this experience.
Yeah. That is so fascinating. I never really saw it that way, but yeah, I think there's a balance, right?
Yeah.
That you have to find between having that hope, like stupid hope.
Like
I literally have cancer cells inside my body that want to like attack parts of my body. But I'm like, no, they're going to disappear just for no reason, out of thin air. And using mindfulness to kind of imagine that and visualize that and believe that for myself, this faith and determination. And then also
choosing it every fucking day.
Choosing it. And then also having days where you're like, this is really hard though. And I'm going to like emote. You know?
You're going to say emo.
I'm going to be emo. Yeah, I got bangs for a reason, you know.
I just want to have them I'm just going to be tossing them today.
Toss them to the side when I'm having those emotional
days. That's going to be your cue to me if you ever call me and she's just doing a little toss. I'm like, oh, it's today.
That's the cue.
She needs to go to the cantina and toss her bangs.
To the cantina, honestly.
To the cantina.
I love that place. It's great.
Shout out to the cantina on 42nd Street, getting me through my cancer moments.
Yeah, it was great. Honestly,
I mean, tortilla chips have gotten me through a lot of moments. What's literally top 5 favorite snacks?
Yeah.
When I tell you I have a
addiction.
There's an addiction. And there's like tiers of tortilla chips.
Interesting.
But yeah, choosing hope every day. Actually, one of the books you and I both have liked, again, by Daisaku Ikeda, is Hope is a Decision. Mm-hmm. And again, I think we live in a culture that's, it's like, well, I hope I find hope, or like maybe someone else will give me hope, which we can find that. Like I sports documentaries and seeing the tenacity of human beings can make me feel like, yeah, like I have that tenacity. Yeah. But this idea of choosing hope, I'm going to create hope despite my circumstances, that we have that power. Yep. And it's not easy. No. And some days I can choose hope, like, I don't think about it. But again, these last few days where my symptoms have been really kicking my ass, and I told someone over text, I'm like, I feel like I'm Hodor. I told you this. And I had to, Bree's not a Game of Thrones fan, so I had to kind of break it down, try and be like, how does one break down Hodor? Our simple, beautiful giant. But there are some days where I just feel like I'm Hodor holding back the darkness, like, Hodor, and I'm so tired of Hodoring, and I just want it to be not such an dimensional. That's emotional and mental. I like that. I don't want it to be such an dimensional. Sometimes I'm just tired of having mental fortitude, despite preaching it to everyone all the time. Yeah. But then again, it's the cool relief of, not that we have to have people in a chronically shared experience to feel understood. Yeah. I have so many amazing people around me that I feel seen and supported by. Yes. But there is something, like we talked about, just having someone to be like, dude, I fucking get it. Mm-hmm. That is just like, yeah. Yeah. Which is why Chronic the podcast, I was like, how do we connect human beings that just need someone to go, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that what's really great about this and what you're creating is just another form of media that is doing good for the world. You know, like
following in Brie Mercado's footsteps, friends.
Like I feel like what helps me when I'm Hodoring, I'm going to use that now.
I hope this becomes a verb in the pop culture.
When I'm Hodoring. I need to be off Instagram. I need to stop scrolling. I need to like surround myself with Buddhist books, Daisaku Ikeda for sure. Books that give me life and encourage me, and being around friends that get it and can encourage me. And it doesn't necessarily need to be my sick friends, but they need to be like,
yes, sprinkle the sick ones in.
I have sick friends. I do. But yeah, I think that there's certain people you talk to when you need help and you need a community. Like, I don't think one can get through this alone.
Any kind of community, like even my friend who just had a baby and she's really struggling being a new mother. I'm like, do you have other new mothers you can connect with? She's like, I haven't really found that. And I know the power of it. When I shared with you when I was in treatment for my eating disorder, and the biggest part of getting better was other young women and young men that were going through it. It's just like, we can share our language. We can share the experience. We can take guilt and shame out of the equation. That was like that weird guilt and shame thing can be like, go away. Yep. Why am I carrying you? Even in this experience, it's like, I don't know why that comes up, because it's not our fault, but it's our responsibility. And that's another fun one to play with. Ooh. Well, I didn't ask for this, but it's my responsibility. Yeah.
Yep. That's a huge one. That was one of my other sayings. It's like, I'm taking responsibility for my cancer.
Hell yeah, dude. That's metal.
Like, what?
Yeah. Because it doesn't mean that you're being punished. It's not a punitive thing of like, I've done something wrong, so I have to take responsibility for my actions. It's saying, I have the power to take responsibility.
And the fortitude and the strength to take this on.
Yeah, I think it's literally, it's putting a stake in the ground, and it's saying to yourself, how strong. I am so strong. Yeah. I'm so capable. That's what taking responsibility can mean for a person.
Yeah. Yep. Wild.
I don't know. We both stare into the distance of like,
yeah. I mean, I could blame my parents. No, I'm just
no, mom and dad, this one's for you.
I know.
Diss track.
Yeah.
That's the thing though. And it's so easy. And I remember that too in treatment. They were like, we could sit around and blame our parents, blame society for these ailments. but it kind of keeps us stuck. Mm-hmm. And the real power is in taking responsibility, mm-hmm. which is such a mental learning curve, I think.
Yeah.
And then once you harness it, it's so freeing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, oh, okay, let's just move the fuck on.
Move on. And, there's so many things to learn, like so many people you'll meet. There's so many, when you fully take responsibility, there's like this surge of energy of like, and clear direction of where you need to go to. So, onward, that's where I'm at. I'm like,
that's how we're summarizing this.
Here we go.
Onward.
Yeah. Onward.
Sempre avanti. Always forward.
Yeah. Or what's the other one? What's New York's slogan?
The Big
Excelsior. The Big Apple.
Everyone take a bite.
Excelsior. Ever upward.
Oh, Excelsior means ever upward?
Ever upward.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Excelsior.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excalibur. Don't know what that means. The etymology queen over here is going to figure it out, though. Excelsior. All I know is in excelsis Deo, because I was in the choir at my Jesuit college. In excelsis Deo. We have to sing in all Latin, dude.
You
are
a book of fun facts.
I wore a neck to floor, like black gown we had to wear. I remember my boyfriend at the time was like, I don't know, I'm kind of into it. It's kind of hot. Your hot nun choir outfit. And I was like,
no.
What a weird. We've had a beautiful life.
We really have. And we're only like halfway to 66.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And 66 in my eyes is still very youthful.
I can't wait. I just discovered a woman on the YouTube or the Instagram. And she's like 64 and she like wears all these fun clothes. She talks about, she's anti-ageism. She's like, you can start fresh whenever you want, live life. She wears so many colors. She's just like so mod, like of Harold and Maude. It's just joie de vivre. And I'm like, yeah, dude, take notes.
Yeah.
It's never too late to decide to live colorfully and fully.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like you're the one that you decide every day. And I watch you always. I'm like, God, Brie. She just kickball change, sunshine.
Thanks, Meg.
I say that all the time when I'm having a hard. I'm like, kickball change, let's go.
Kickball change.
That was the hardest move to learn and dance for me ever.
Oh.
It was one of the first, and I was like, and to this day, choreographing comedians, and like, guys, today we're learning the kickball change, and it can take the whole rehearsal. Why it's so hard.
It is pretty hard.
The weight shift is confusing.
Yes.
For a pedestrian.
I can understand that.
You don't kickball change organically.
It's true.
If you can learn kickball change, you can do anything.
It's true. That is a tough one.
Wow. Well, Brie, are there any final nuggets you want to leave people with?
I don't know.
Cancer survivors, non-cancer battlers, just in general, anything that you want to leave people with?
Jeez, there's so much.
Not that you're dying and these are your parting words, but
I know.
Just for the next week, what would you like to leave people with?
I guess just like understanding that your experience will contain a full broad spectrum of great things and terrible things, and both might be true, and it's okay. It's almost this experience of like, this is it and it's perfect. Like having to hold right now, like, okay, cancer might be growing somewhere else in my body. That's terrifying. But also I'm sitting on this couch next to you with a beautiful sleeping upside down Cusco over there, making me crack up. Like I have such beautiful experiences to look forward to when I'm back in New York. And, I can be happy and so thankful and also terrified at the same time. And that's what the experience is of having cancer, I think. And that goes true for if you have it currently, or even if you're a survivor and you're dealing with survivor's guilt or remission and fear. Scanxiety is what they call it. Like anxiety when you have a scan.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, scanxiety. Yeah, it's a true thing. So I think that just knowing that this experience is expanding you to feel more things, and that is the human experience, and also that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that we're constantly expanding our capacity.
Yeah,
like the universe
We are. And that goes back to Buddhism as well. Like, we are the universe, and the universe is ever expanding. And so,
it contains every dynamic, the entire multitude of experience.
And this is your opportunity to feel that.
Wow. Opportunity. That is the word too that keeps floating through this thing. Yeah. Where's the opportunity in this? Literally this moment.
Yeah.
Like, everything brought us to this moment. And I'm like, how kick-ass is this? Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Bri. Thank you for giving me an hour of your voice.
Thank you.
Your precious voice.
Thank you so much for having me.
Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram. We already mentioned Bri Positive.
Yes.
BRIPOSITIVE.
And also, what are you doing? What's this thing I hear about you coaching, Bri?
Oh, yes. So I am an integrative health and wellness coach.
Yeah, baby.
And yeah, I guess I'm looking for clients, people that want to improve and enhance their well-being.
Hell yeah. How can people find you if they want to work with you one-on-one?
I think it would still be probably my email, bripositive@gmail.com.
bripositive@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. And if you have anything to share with Bri or the pod, or you want to share your own experience of cancer or not cancer, those are the two categories of existence, Bri. Cancer or not cancer. Have I been canceled yet? Oh my God. See, we have to try and laugh through these things. But yeah, if anybody wants to, I mean, if they can reach out to the podcast and ask any questions, not to bombard you with thousands of emails, but we are podchronic@gmail.com. Feel free to be anonymous or not anonymous, because those are the two categories for that as well. You know, we're going to create a checklist and you can just let us know what's going on with you.
Oh, amazing.
And also, we are also on the socials. Bri, I'm so excited to hear about your next 2 back-to-back choreo kickball change.
Thank you.
Jobs.
Yes.
And I hope you come back to California to visit. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll see you next Wednesday, and you can see Bri whenever you want. Bye.